Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with the second video of the day. Now, as has been sort of setting Twitter and setting Twitter aflame, it's been made official. Right, Jon Kent, who's taken on the mantle of Superman in Superman Son of Kal, is now coming out as bisexual. What they really mean is that he's coming out as gay, they're just using the term bi to let us down easy. Right? And people talk about, a self-insert character. Well, I don't think you get more self-insert than the stereotypical, feminist, liberal appearance, right? The dyed hair, the glasses, all this other stuff. And to be honest, I've seen better kisses in life. But that's me, right? But here's the way I view it. Let's be clear. Just like with the Tim Drake retcon that they did a month or two ago, this is not about actually exploring bisexuality or creating a character who is a superhero and just happens to be bisexual. This isn't even about exploring the life of, say, Jon Kent and him coming to realize that maybe he's not heterosexual. This is about attention, because take a look at this. This was posted at 10 a.m. this morning, and at least as of recording this video, New York time, it is 2:22 p.m. So it's been up for a few hours now. And you have over 2,200 retweets, over 4,400 quote tweets, and over 15,000 likes. And this is just for the IGN article. DC does this, Marvel does this for attention. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's take a look here. You see that these are some comic channel. Oh, what the heck? Sorry. These are some comic channels that I follow. You see Thinking Critical. Was it Thinking Critical? He's made a video about this, right? DC confirms gay Superman in November. You have John Delarose, gay Superman. And I was watching a video earlier from Heel versus Babyface, which also covered this. So we're all giving DC what they want, which is attention, right? We're all playing into this game. They take a character who has a iconic mantle. With Tim Drake, it was the mantle of Robin. With Jon Kent now, it's the mantle of Superman. You can even see, for example, with the way John and Wes at Thinking Critical titled their videos, right? And what they're using in the thumbnail art. Gay Superman, gay Superman. It gets attention. Just as they want attention for their videos, and I want to be clear, this isn't about shaming them or anything. I'm just using it as an example. But just as John and Wes from Thinking Critical want attention for their videos, so when they cover this, so they put in gay Superman, well, this is no different, right? It's not a mistake that they show Jon Kent in the Superman costume by kissing this young man, kissing this stereotype of a young liberal, right? It's the same thing, gay Superman, right? Although I will give IGN credit for acknowledging that John is inheriting the mantle of Superman. Because what's going to happen, and I've said this in other videos, and why I don't title my videos about this as, gay Robin, or bi Robin, or gay Superman, or bi Superman, is because people not familiar with the way comics work and the way mantles are moved are going to come into some of these videos or these articles thinking, Clark Kent is gay? Or Dick Grayson is gay? Right? That's not it. As I've said before, talking about Robin or Batwoman or anything else, and I'll say it again, a mantle has no sexual orientation. A mantle is not straight, a mantle is not gay, a mantle is not male, it's not female. It's none of those things. It's not young, it's not old. It's the person with the mantle at that time who is young, old, gay, straight, male, female, whatever it is, but not the mantle itself. The mantle is the idea, right? It's the it's what they represent, right? For example, police, right? A cop's uniform doesn't have an orientation, but a cop's uniform ideally represents, authority, a certain type of authority, right? A peacekeeping force in more ideal circumstances, right? But it's not a reflection necessarily of the demographic of the person in the suit. There's no such thing as a black police uniform outside of the literal color black. And I mean black as in an ethnicity. There's no such thing as a white police uniform or a black police uniform or a woman's police uniform or a man's or a gay police uniform. That doesn't exist. It's a uniform for a particular profession. And I view superhero mantles in a similar light. The mantle has no orientation, it has no demographic data. It gets associated with certain people who have those things, but it itself does not. Right? But this is done to get attention. It's like that Charlie Puth song, right? You just want attention. You don't want my heart. That's what this is about. Because now this will just detract attention from the story being told about Jon Kent being Superman and being a lot more, say, authoritarian than Clark is, and this sort of conflict between Clark and Jon and all of this other stuff being going on in the Superman Son of Kyle comic being going on right now, being written by Tom Taylor, I believe. And so here's the thing. So there's all that. This is mainly about attention, and we're all giving them the attention that they want. Right? And let's be honest, comics does this for no other reason than to get attention. It's not about actually exploring the character. It's not about actually wanting to tell a story that fans, be they more casual fans or very hardcore fans, would actually be interested in hearing or reading or seeing. It's just about, in my opinion, sticking it to older fans who tend to be very critical of these type of, random sexuality flips or gender flips or race flips or whatnot. And all that. But what's interesting is this, right? So I want to focus on this tweet from the DC Batman account, which, as you can see here, has over 300,000 followers, right? Because the reason I want to focus on this particular tweet, which I believe is from last year. Here we go. This tweet is from last year, right? And it's regarding this new character called Ghostmaker, which I think needs a new name. Now, from what I've read on the DC fandom site, Ghostmaker seems to be in the vein of Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Azrael, your sort of, 90s anti-hero, type character, right? He's the killer and Bruce has to stop him and all of this other stuff, right? But in looking through that, I found out that this character is bisexual. Now, according to the DC fandom site, this character is a hedonist, and part of their hedonism is the fact that they like to have sex with men and women, which I actually do think is a very problematic trope. I don't like to use that term often, but I really do think it's problematic. And comics, DC, I mean both DC and Marvel, do have this, in my opinion, troubling trend of depicting a lot of their bisexual characters as these hedonists or as these villains or villainesses or anti-heroes. You take characters like Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, you take characters like Ghostmaker. They sometimes go against the mold, like when Greg Rucka randomly retconned Wonder Woman to be bisexual in 2016. But he was just playing into the general assumption that because she's an ancient Greek-inspired warrior. And I've made my feelings known about that. But you take characters like, say, Catwoman, right? They've all been retconned to be bi, or they were made bi recently, and there are all these characters that tend to be villains or villainesses or anti-heroes. So that's on the DC side. Marvel has characters like Mystique and Daken and others. So there is this disturbing trend in the main two of comics to take their bisexual characters and to make them these villain or villain-like characters. So Ghostmaker plays into that, and I really do think that is problematic to continue this trend of a original character. In this case, being bi and being a hedonist instead of just being a character who just happens to be bisexual. His bisexuality is a further expression of his hedonistic tendencies, right? But again, that's just me, and I will link the DC fandom article. I'm not the one coming up with this off the top of my head. It's what it literally says. So there's that. But Ghostmaker, at the very least, is an original character. An original character that DC has done absolutely nothing to promote. So here's the thing. The reason I bring this up is because me and an individual online named William Blake have been going back and forth on Twitter about this. And to be fair to Mr. Blake, it's been a respectful interchange, and that's very important to me, so I do want to highlight that. I've been respectful toward him, he's been respectful toward me, although we strongly disagree. I will always give people credit for that. But here's the thing. We were going back and forth, and I brought up at a certain point, I was like, well, why doesn't DC promote their original, bi characters instead of taking characters like Robin, or not Robin, sorry, uh, Tim Tim Drake, or in this case now, what's his face, Jon Kent, and making them bisexual and getting attention that way. Why don't they actually promote an actual original LGBTQ and in this case bisexual character? So he sends me this tweet, talking about Ghostmaker, and it comes from November of last year, so it's almost a year old. And yet, look at this: 105 tweets, 8 quote tweets, 1,280 likes. This is terrible engagement for an account promoting Batman from DC that has over 300,000 followers. They should be getting a lot more attention, a lot more retweets, and quote tweets and all that easily. Easily. They should be able to get a lot more attention. Here's how bad it is. And here's how DC did not put any effort in promoting this character. Again, this is from last year, so this tweet's been around for nearly a year. And to my knowledge, DC hasn't signal boosted it or retweeted it or done anything. And these are the numbers it pulls from an account about Batman, right? Promoting Batman and Batman books and Batman characters. And yet it's only getting this much engagement. Here's a tweet that I made, back in August of this year. So a few months ago, about 2 months ago, right? Simple tweet. And look at this. I got 141 retweets and 10 quote tweets. I literally beat, not that I was trying or intending to, but a tweet I made 2 months ago literally beats out on 2 of 3 measurements, right? The only thing that I lost was the likes, right? But a person with at present, load. I don't know why the stupid thing isn't loading. Anyway, at present, I have about, I think, 480 followers on my account. which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm not upset about my Twitter numbers or anything. I want to make that clear. But I'm just saying, I don't even have 500 followers yet on my Twitter account. My Twitter account is a drop in the bucket for a DC Batman account. Yet my little tweet from 2 months ago, which was just a random thought, and I just, put these two pictures, right? Storm and then the whole bland as hell looking April O'Neil thing where her name was misspelled. And I got this engagement. And this tweet on 2 of 3 factors beats out a DC Batman account tweet that's been up for almost a year. I beat it out on retweets and quote tweets. That shouldn't happen. And that's my issue. That should not happen at all. There is no way in the world that a small account like mine should beat out in any way or come close to in any way a tweet coming from an account that has over 300,000 followers that is attached to an iconic comic book company and an iconic comic book character. This, especially after nearly a year, should have done as well as, if not better than, what IGN is getting on this one tweet over a few hours. A few hours. Now, some may say, well, IGN has, millions of subscribers and millions of followers, right? And fair point. But still, I think that the Batman tweet should have been able to at least get these numbers or close to it after nearly a year. Especially since that we know DC has other accounts that they could use to promote Ghostmaker, right? They could easily feature this character on other DC accounts. DC is connected because now they're owned by Warner Brothers. They could easily throw money and attention and clout and all this other stuff. They could easily give this character or any other legitimately original character who is LGBTQ a push online. They could easily push this character and put him everywhere and promote him up the wazoo if they wanted to. And we all know this. They're not a small little account like mine. They are a larger part of a giant media machine. They could put this character in a movie. They could put him in the next Batman movie if they wanted to, or the next Batman cartoon. What, the Injustice film just came out and people are asking it? They could easily make a movie about this new character. They could do so much, but they're not going to. They're not going to promote a legitimately LGBTQ character, in this case a bisexual character, who isn't named Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy. What they're going to do, and continue to do, is stuff like this. They're going to take characters who have inherited iconic mantles, and they're going to continue to do these cheap race flips or sexuality flips in this case, or other types of flips, because it's easy to get attention this way. They're not going to put in money and time and attention to build up Ghostmaker. They're not going to do that. All they're going to do is just stuff like this. It is easier to get attention for gay Superman. And you see it right here. Gay Superman. It is much easier to get attention for gay Superman than it is for an original gay character who does not have a connection to an iconic mantle that people already know. It's nothing more than, as is termed in pro wrestling, a cheap pop or cheap heat, right? For those in favor of this, like Mr. Blake, this is a cheap pop, right? For those in who don't follow pro wrestling, a cheap pop is when you get cheers for saying not much of anything. It's when like someone says, hey, New York City's the greatest. Yankees, raw, yeah, right. It's easy. You just find something positive about the city and you focus on that. How about them Yankees, right? Cheap pop. Conversely, for people like myself, this is cheap heat. That's when you say something or you do something offensive that turns people away. For example, hey, New York, how about them Knicks? Remember the last time that they won a title? Right? It's simple, it's easy, and it gets the reaction that you want. Cheers or boos, depending on which side of the aisle you're on and which side of the aisle you are playing to. That's all this is. It's cheap heat for those who don't like it. It's a cheap pop for those who do. It's just designed to get attention. So here you go, IGN. Here you go, DC. Here's your attention. You've gotten 20 plus minutes of attention out of me. I hope you're glad, because this will do nothing to promote the story. This will do nothing to help us better understand the character of Jon Kent. I doubt this is actually going to promote the most important thing that a comic book company in difficult times, that is in a dying industry, needs, which is sales. You need people to purchase this. And guess what? Guess what's going to happen? Those like myself who find this to just be cheap pandering are unlikely to purchase it. You may have a few people who purchase it for for reviewing purposes, but most people who disagree with this are not going to purchase it. And the people who do agree with it, the bulk of those individuals won't purchase it either, because all they want is to agree with an idea. All they want is to see an idea that they agree with and that they approve of in the mainstream media. That's all it is. They don't actually want to put in their time or their energy or their money. They just want to see themselves in comics. So this image is all that they need. It's all that they want. And it's free. So very few of them are actually going to go beyond that and actually put their money where their mouth is. You've given them what they want. Now they have no need to purchase it. In a way, it's similar to what people used to say about, well, some people I should say, used to say about women who would sleep with their boyfriends or whatnot prior to marriage. It's like, why buy the cow if you get the milk for free? It's that sort of idea, and that's what they're getting. They've got what they want. They have their Superman kissing a self insert, this caricature of a young liberal individual. That's all they want. That's all they need. They've seen it here. It's effectively free. It takes no time and no money out of their account, and they're gonna move on. That's it. So you're not gonna get many buys from those who are critical of it, and you're not gonna get a lot of buys for those who are in favor of it. So really, who the hell is gonna buy your comic? You need sales. You need money to keep operations going. But hey, what do I know? What do I know about comics and cheap pandering? They will continue to commit career suicide. They will continue to sink the ship. And sooner or later, this type of stuff will finally end, because the money can't last forever, right? Warner Brothers is sooner or later going to come asking, where is the money? Where is the money? Why aren't you making money? And when they do, DC will have no one to blame but themselves. I look at it like this: a terminally ill patient is going to die. They may live longer than anticipated. Doctors may say, oh, they're going to be dead in 6 months, and they live for a year and a half. Okay, they lived longer than expected, but they still die in the end because sadly there is no cure for their illness. Living longer in a dying state just means you die that much slower. And that's what DC and Marvel and a lot of traditional comic companies are doing. They are living longer in a dying state, but nothing is being done to actually reverse the death process. They're not healing, they're not getting better, they're not improving. Their health is not coming back to them. They're just dying really, really, really slowly in real time in front of our very eyes. And they are happy to destroy themselves for a group of people who never really cared. Anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all on the next one. Have a good day or night wherever you are. Bye.